Ireland's Prime Minister Brian Cowan insists that the country has enough cash on hand to fund the government budget through June 2011. But that's not soothing investors who are dumping the nation's bonds for a 12th day in a row. 10-year yields are now trading above 8%. If they don't come down, that could mean more trouble for Ireland when it does need to borrow again, though they say not anytime soon. Ashraf Laidi is the chief forex strategist at CMC Markets. His forex predictions frequently placed in the #1 spot in FX Week's currency forecasting rankings. We love to have him on the show this morning, interestingly enough, from Dublin itself. Ashraf, you flew there to find out for yourself whether 6 billion euros is going to do the work in terms of trimming the budget to a palatable level?
Pretty much it, Margaret. I was at the conference where the head of the central bank was basically speaking himself. He did say that there is no need for assistance from the IMF. And the 6 billion that you mentioned is basically what the Prime Minister here is saying, is that yes, we need that 6 billion adjustment for us to be able to pay the 50 billion that we need to pay. Otherwise, we cannot do that. We will only be able to pay around 30 billion. And but then you've got the opposing parties, which are basically saying no, this 6 billion adjustment is a little bit too excessive. If you recall, late last week, the Green Party basically, earlier this week, the Green Party said that we are going to be opposing any cuts to the pensions. So basically they talked about a budget, and right now we are seeing the domestic opposition before it, whether it would be ultimately passed later on this month.
Right. So when that December 7th budget consideration comes up and the political risk gets out of the way, are these cuts enough for you to be supportive, or are they enough to be supportive of the euro?
Yes, I think that, no such negotiations are happening without the presence of people from the IMF. Let's not kid ourselves. This is what happened with Greece. So if they do get passed, I think they would have a seal of approval from the IMF. And I think that would implicitly be called a seal of approval from the credit rating agencies. And I think that would help slow down the decline in the euro, Margaret. I think probably the next handicap after that would be, this is the same thing that happened with Greece. Everybody was worried about the debt part of the story, but the denominator part of the story, the GDP, some people may be saying, wait a minute, this is too much, this is too restrictive, and it could be hampering the growth, and that might be the next excuse to bring down the euro. But we're not talking so much against the US dollar, but it's really a selling of the euro, Margaret, against the Canadian dollar, against the Swiss franc.
Ashraf, I want to jump in here quickly because I want to make it crystal clear to our listeners and to our viewers. We just put up something on the bottom of the screen that said something about a bailout. To be clear, the EU has said Ireland has not asked for a bailout. The IMF has not said as such either. But you are hearing these rumors at this conference you're at?
Yes, we heard it from some conference from some reporters who basically said that, and in the internet it was denied by the central bank itself, actually, and by the finance minister. And yes, it would be uncalled for. It would be premature for the country to come up and seek the assistance of the IMF while it did not even agree itself on the budget.
All right, Ashraf, thank you for joining us live from Dublin today. It's a story we're going to continue to track. Hope to have you back on to see what progress is made.